ragamuffin keeps striving in every way. International, what they call we international. When me ride palm rhythm in the move, but the rhythm when I come down crucial. And me ride palm rhythm and then we sit down steady. Body me on the place and with the one Jamal skinny. Jump up on the rhythm, make we ride it right. Chat up on the mic and keep it international. Cause anytime we chop a mic, they call we give it a general. International, when me ride palm rhythm in the move, but the rhythm when I come down crucial. And me ride palm rhythm and then we sit down steady. Body me on the place and with the one Jamal skinny.
Yes. What is up, everybody? Joshua Casper coming back at you with another live stream. Where's everybody tuning in from today? Let me see. Norway, Toronto, Canada, Manchester. Love to see it. Milwaukee, Nambia. That's awesome. Well, everybody, good to see you again. Got a great live show lined up for you today. We're here with Soundiron. And in fact, let me go ahead and just bring on the guests today. Hey, everybody, join me in welcoming Craig. Craig, how are you today?
Hey, I am good. How are you?
Oh, I'm absolutely phenomenal. Looking forward to the live stream today. But before we jump in, obviously you're here with Soundiron. Everybody in the comments have already been chatting about how wonderful the libraries are from Soundiron. Why don't you let everybody know a little bit about yourself, your role at Soundiron, and what we'll be doing on stream today?
So my name's Craig Peters, and I am the press manager, marketing manager. If you've watched our YouTube channel or are subscribed, I do a lot of the walkthroughs and composing tutorials and things like that. So, yeah, a lot of things that keep me busy.
Nice. What will we be doing on stream today?
So today we're going to be checking out some of our more recent releases, some that aren't so recent, just some various things from our catalog. So we recently came out with our Hyperion Strings Ensemble, which is our biggest project to date. It's 130 gigs of orchestral strings, chamber string size ensemble, and we're going to be checking out some of that. We're going to be checking out some other libraries. So we also came out with our Sonospheres Limitless, which is a compendium of all the Sonospheres libraries that we did with composer Blake Ewing. And we also got some Voices of Wind and some Ex Machina for all the people that like metal out there. So a lot of diverse things from our catalog. We have a lot of products. So it's just kind of showcasing, a few of the different ones on here. So yeah, be checking all that out.
Phenomenal. Great. Well, before we jump in, we have been granted the opportunity by yourself, Craig, and the Soundiron team to be able to give away a few copies of some of the instruments we're checking out today. And to do that, as normal here on the Plugin Boutique live streams, to be entered to win, we're going to choose a few people at random. All you need to do is be active in the chat, being a positive force for good, asking good questions. Ask at Plugin Boutique with your questions, and we'll try to get them answered here on the stream. And at the end of the stream, we will pick a few people to go away, not empty-handed, as they say.
Of course.
Also, another cool thing is both the Hyperion Strings Ensemble and the other one. What was the other one that we're going to be checking out?
The Voices of Wind collection, and then Ex Machina. We'll be showing the Sonospheres Limitless.
Yeah, the Sonospheres Limitless. Those were both added to Plugin Boutique this morning. So my friend Connor, who's helping us in the chat today, will post some links to those right as we get started. But let's go ahead and flip over to your DAW, Craig, and jump right into this.
All right.
Boom.
So what you're seeing here is our Hyperion Strings Ensemble. So it's a big library. It's got a lot of articulations. So these are just a few that you have, but if you click anywhere on these slots, the cool thing about this library is that you can load up various articulations, similar articulations in the 12 slots. And if you see this massive just list of various articulations from expressions, effects, short notes, long notes, various different short notes. So it's just it's a lot, and with this full flagship version of the strings, we did some other things too, like certain additions to the UI, just to try to make it as user-friendly and customizable as possible for composers or any musicians. So kind of to give you a little bit of an idea of the sound, this is the first violins in the multi-mic. So the really cool thing with this library is that we have this mixer now, because before it was just the close mics, but we've also remastered all these samples. So here is just the stage and the far mics.
Can we turn it up just a little bit, Craig?
Yeah, let me turn this up a little bit right.
Nice.
Here. And over here, so for each slot, there's going to be some different features as well. So down here in the bottom, you'll see that things change. One of the really cool things with this is that we recorded clean and vibrato sustains, and you can blend between them. And that's a feature that we've seen a lot of people always want. So being able to do that. So right here, I have this blend slider, you'll see in the bottom left, and that allows me to go between just a clean or that vibrato. So being able to have that option, being able to map it to any CC controller you want, Then we have this performance patch right here, which is really cool. It allows people to kind of so you can kind of be able to flesh out ideas in real time and just be able to program stuff. You can use it just like that, or you can use it just for programming. I know there's a lot of people who have templates set up where there's like sustains, then shorts. So if you want to just quickly flesh out an idea and then just cut and paste the MIDI and then put it on different tracks, you can do that. We've got some bow change dynamic sustains, which are really cool because these are very expressive. Because you just hear the player just kind of going in and out of bowing, which is always
so
nice.
Good.
Oh, thank you. And then, the other bread and butter articulations you would expect, like tremolos. And then, see, with the shorts, one of the things that's really cool with this is that we also have a lot of different timed shorts. So, because you have eighth notes, you have 16th notes and triplets and stuff, and being able to program that, because not one short doesn't always fit them all. So, like with the spiccatos, we have these tight ones which are really fast. So if you're programming a lot of quick sort of measured tremolo, like digga 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 and that kind of thing, this is the articulation that you would want, because and then having it set to tight, and then loose is obviously a little bit of a slower. So you have a then if you head over to tight, so very tight, if you're programming some really quick 30-second notes or 64th notes, it's really perfect for that. And then you can also set it to time, so depending on how fast you play, so that's always really cool. And then pizzicatos, and then I really love having this set to loose, because it has this very, you can hear little flams, which is always nice. Sounds like a group of players.
So is that like I can see something lighting up there, kind of radial dials. Are those the round robin for each one of the notes?
Yeah. So there's the various round robins, and it'll cycle through. We even have a little reset button, so if you want to set that to something, you can do that. And then the Bartok. So it really has, not just the bread and butter stuff, excuse me, but we also have a lot of other really cool articulations, like these staccato tremolo dynamics. So you can do these stuff you wouldn't necessarily be able to program.
We might need to turn it up a little bit. It's quite quiet when we're going through these examples.
Maybe I can.
Yeah, that will do it.
Yeah, I had the this slider or this knob right here allows you to control volume as well as dynamics. So for this right now, it's just set to velocity, but yeah, just to get a little bit louder.
Well, Craig, we got a few questions that I think we should probably knock out of the way before we continue on here. It's actually from Flyover Fred. Got a really good question about file management with libraries of, you said this is 130 gigabytes. What maybe is your setup, or what is the preferred setup? So I've got like a D drive or an E drive, and then I've got my Ableton Live and Kontakt on the C drive, obviously the SSD, and the E drive, for example, is an HDD. Sorry, is it gonna work just fine if I put that library on the E drive, or should it be on the SSD, or does it need to be, or will it work faster or better?
SSDs are always the way to go, especially with big sample libraries. With this, I have it on a SSD. I have this Blackmagic dock right here that's got 4 terabyte SSDs. It's just because having so many sample libraries, you definitely need a place to house them. With this library in particular, it's not for the Kontakt player yet, but I always recommend people to batch resave, especially with libraries this size, just to get quicker load times. And also, SSDs are always the way to go if you can.
But if you can, it's just might load up a little slower, but everything will still sound perfectly great. Yeah, right.
Yeah, totally.
Another question from Freyskin is wondering about articulation key switches. Are those available? It looks like maybe there are. Are they populated as you load different articulations in sort of the main menu there, or are they just always on?
Yeah, so if you look down here on the left of the keyboard, you'll see that there's some key switches popping up. And as you add them, so like if we were to go here, let's just add a random articulation. Let's do flattando sustains. You'll see a new one pop up. So they will populate as you add something to the slot. If this was completely empty, there would be nothing.
Gotcha.
And everything would just look blank. But since it's set up like this, you can key switch, you can map slots to the same key switch if you want, if you're doing any kind of blending, and then if you're using like the velocity ranges to do some cool stuff, like if you want to combine like a spiccato and like a decrescendo on the same key switch, but have it to where it only plays a decrescendo on like the hardest velocity, then you can do that. And there's also some AB slider stuff that we've added in this that we haven't touched on yet, but maybe we'll get into that in a little bit.
A couple of people are asking another really good question, including Josh the Potato. Can you use?
Josh.
Yeah, what's up, Josh? Can you use these instruments in the free Kontakt player, or does it require the paid version?
This does require the full version of Kontakt. I know there's some things you can do with having stuff be visible in Kontakt 7, but I think that's just like for visibility, but I think you still need the full version. But if you want it to show up sort of like in the library tab, but yeah, this won't be in the library tab. You'll have to access it using the files or dragging in NKIs. But yeah, as of now, it's for the full version of Kontakt.
Gotcha. And that's that. And some Doctress Music is wondering, do you know where this was recorded, these strings?
This was recorded in Fantasy Studios in Berkeley. Unfortunately, Fantasy Studios isn't around anymore.
Oh, no.
But yeah, it was recorded there. Same place where we recorded the Hyperion Brass as well. And it just has a really nice, more drier sound. A lot of times with certain symphonic libraries, if you're going for that big, lush orchestral hall, sort of like what we did with the Symphony Series instruments that we did in collaboration with Native Instruments. That has a lot more of kind of a washier, more symphonic, that kind of bigger reverb sound. But we like to give people options, and recording in a drier space really allows you to take these instruments and layer them with other libraries, or if you just want a more drier, tight, intimate sound. And with the different mics in the mixer, it really allows you to do that. Like for example, let me go to...
That's crazy. That was my next question, was about the microphone mix.
Yeah, so we remastered these samples from Hyperion Strings Elements. We wanted to have more of an organic, natural sound, allowing some of those little, player sounds in there to really, really make it feel like you have the players in your room. And that's something that I've always enjoyed, and everyone here at Soundiron, we want to have that as realistic of a sound as possible. And the close mics are what you've heard if you've heard our Hyperion Strings Elements or Micro. So this is a little bit more of a closer, intimate sound, but it has a little bit of this like more like a fuller, you can use it ready to go sort of sound. But then we also have this stage mic, which is one of my favorites because I've always loved the sound of the mic right up on the player. And that's what this offers. So let me put this in center so you can hear it. Actually, so also in this library, we have the space tab, which has a reverb. You can use an algorithmic or a convolution reverb. I'm going to turn this off so you can really hear the sound of this mic. So very detailed. You don't really hear any room at all. And what's great about this is that if you just want to have a really tight and dry sound, or if you want to layer this with a bigger, fuller, more lush string library, it adds that detail, and you can just blend it in, pan it however you want. You can pan it here in the mixer. You can also pan it. Oh, let me get rid of that. We can pan it in the space tab down here. So that's always nice. So that's always cool just to be able to have those options as far as, player placement. So if you want to put them more back in the room. So you really just have the option to put the player anywhere you want. And then we could check out some of the other mics. So these are the mid mics. So you can start to hear a little bit more room come in. And then we have this far mic right here. More lush, darker sound. And so if you want that
room,
more...
it sounds like a...
Yeah. And the cool thing is you can blend these. Or if you want the stage, and the far. 1 second. Get rid of that. So you can have the stage. And then you can pan it. So if you want to have it more over here where the violins tend to sit. Or you can blend the stage in the mid. So you have a lot of options as far as being able to shape the sound however you want. And, we always want to give, the musician the options to be able to shape the sound. And then, if you want to EQ it afterward or add a little extra reverb, you can dial all that stuff in here. So just trying to give you as much tonal and sonic and feature options to be able to shape the sound however you want.
Absolutely. User My Channel is wondering if there are any presets, like certain room configurations or articulations, or is it just you open it up and get in and do something custom every time?
You can get in and do stuff custom. We do have some presets. We also have some templates set up, some NKMs to where if you're doing any kind of multi timbrels type stuff, you can just like throw that in there and then build a template right away. We also have some different like these slot presets. Like we have some of those that you can go in and throw in there. So if you want just your sustains or just your shorts, there's also NKIs for those as well. So if, let's say, because this is the master multi-mic, which has everything. That's why when I was going through that slot, it's just this massive array of articulations. But if maybe you just don't want all that stuff loaded, you can load up just the longs NKI, which has only the long articulations, or if you want just the shorts or just effects. So because sometimes it might be a little too much for somebody. So being able to have all those options, depending on your system resources and things like that, there are we tried to kind of cover a lot of the bases to fit certain situations.
Yeah. Do you want to play some? Just like let us hear it. Just go for it and give us a little demonstration, performance, if you will.
Sure. Yeah. Let's. I'll just go and just play through some various articulations so you guys can hear some stuff. So these are the flautando sustains, which I really love. Let's just cycle through some articulations. We also have some various trills. Everyone loves trills. And then you can cycle through. So here we have some major second.
So it sounds like as you're twisting that sort of macro knob, you're actually adding different notes, right?
Oh, I'm playing some various notes on the keyboard. But this is controlling some dynamics and some volume. And one of the really cool things, too, that we also added in this library right here, if you look at this other little vertical slider, a lot of people like that niente, where it's just when you're at the very bottom of the mod wheel, it's silence. So if you want to. But I've never been a huge fan of that because sometimes you don't want to just start from silence, and real players don't really start from silence. So here you can actually shape that. So if we start from the bottom, actually, let me bring this down. So you can kind of get a little bit more volume attenuation. Hopefully you can hear that. So you hear how it's very low. So you can kind of shape the volume of the very lowest dynamic, which is always nice because sometimes you don't always get that control. It's usually one or the other. It's either, it's a little too loud, I got to automate it in my DAW, or it's just silent, and some people might not be a fan of that. So this little niente volume shaper is really cool. So it allows you to kind of shape that however you want. So a lot of various trills. We also have some slow trills too, and you could sync this to your DAW, which is always nice. real recorded slow trills in various intervals. Oh. And then we also have some really cool effects too. So we got some harmonic sustains, always nice. Then we got some bridge sustains, which are great for horror. Oh, I think, uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
Kontakt's not liking me right now.
Maybe, would it help, and this is actually a question, if you got rid of some of the articulations loaded in the other slots, would that reduce maybe the RAM load?
Yeah, let me see. Let me see. Let me switch to another instrument.
Yeah, it's always tough because we are using a bunch of resources to do the live stream.
Yeah. Yeah, so we could switch over to some cellos. We've been hearing the first violins. So we can check out some of those other articulations. So this library, we not only have sort of like bread and butter articulations, but we also have some really cool effects stuff for if you're doing, some horror, or you just need some other unique sort of effects. Little clustery pizzicatos. Or just
we might have to turn it up a little bit. It's still a little quiet there.
Okay, let me turn this up in Kontakt. How's that?
Yeah,
a little
that's
louder?
good. So are those individual samples over the keyboard there, or are you?
Yeah. So
okay.
Yeah, each key has some different ones. Some are stretched a little bit, but each key for the most part has a different type of cluster sustain. So you can hear those are just pitched a little bit because sometimes you might want a little bit of a different tone.
Ooh, that's gnarly.
Yeah, so just a lot of, from more delicate cluster sustains where it just sounds like a bunch of players doing some weird things, or some really violent and aggressive. If you're scoring some horror movie and the jump scare, you want it to just be some big, creepy, eerie thing. You can do that. And then we also have some other ones too. So we got some cluster stabs, which are always cool. So sometimes you don't just need cluster sustains. Sometimes you need some cluster stabs, especially if you're trying to channel your inner psycho, that sort of thing.
We got a question from... Oh, let's fly over Fred. We're missing an F there. We're talking about, I briefly mentioned we are using resources to do the live stream. They're wondering if there are kind of minimum requirements or suggested maybe CPU or probably something like RAM for something like this.
Yeah, on the product page, if you go down to the specs, we have a list of sort of what we think would be a good baseline for different computers, RAM, that sort of thing for Windows and Mac. So we have all that stuff on the, I can't remember it at the moment, but yeah, we have all that stuff listed on the product page that shows everything that you would need to know before making that decision.
Yeah. Another question, let me find out who said it. Jersey Boy Beats is wondering if we can check out that arpeggiator.
Sure. So let me go back to the spiccatos. I think that's a good articulation to be checking out the arpeggiator. So right here we have this arpeggiator. Not a lot of string libraries come with arpeggiators, but we tend to throw the whole, the kitchen sink analogy. Tend to, want to offer as much stuff as possible. So all you got to do is head over here, turn this on, and then if you want to set it to table. And then if you want to increase the steps, you just go over here, increase it to however much you want. So if you want to set it to this, maybe make a little pattern.
Is that the velocity or?
Yeah, so this will be doing the velocity. So if you want to.
So that will really work nicely with those round robins.
Exactly. And this is great for maybe if you're a music producer who's not really trying to do full orchestral mock-ups, and because a lot of times people like to program everything in manually. I'm one of those types of people as well.
Same.
So but I know there's a lot of composers out there who love arpeggiators, and it's fun for them. So here, this is set to chord, but you can also set this to down and up.
Give me more of that volume so we can really hear that.
Yeah, let's check that out.
So what are you
various
doing?
Different directions.
What are you doing with your hand there on the keyboard? Are you just, because I can see on the keyboard in Kontakt that various notes are being played. Are you triggering those notes, or are you just holding one note down?
Well, for here or for this, I was just holding just a C minor chord with the high C on top.
Gotcha.
So you can. I think that's out of the range of the cello. So if you're scoring a Netflix docu-series and you need that.
Done. You're already done.
So it's really nice, and the direction thing is really cool because it allows you to not just have dun 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 dun. You can play around with it however you want. You can have it move in. So a lot of stuff to play around with. There's different modes. You have arpeggiator, or the arpeggio, or trill, or run. You can choose the rhythm. So if you want it to be a little bit faster.
Yeah, we just found out who the list of suspects is, and we're not sure.
You have to wait until part 3 of the Netflix docuseries.
Well, I mean, it sounds absolutely phenomenal. I'm glad that you put the arpeggiator in there, and perhaps that will lead into the answer to this question. Joel Goldberger is asking, there are a lot of options in terms of orchestral libraries out there, and they're wondering if you could just give them maybe a few reasons why Hyperion Strings Ensemble is the choice that people should be making. What makes it stand out among the rest?
Yeah, I mean, aside from just the massive amount of articulations, because we really wanted to have as much articulations as possible, because sometimes you might get a string library that has a lot of the bread and butter stuff, but it maybe has a specific sound that you like. With this, we wanted to have as much articulations, as much possibilities for customization, and also sound. Just like, especially with a lot of people out there, I know there's always a demand for smaller string ensemble sizes for violins or cello, just being able to, because not everyone needs a big bombastic, 16 violins, first violins, 16 second violins. Maybe it's a little, they want a little bit more of an intimate sound. But with this, just these stage mics alone, especially if you just want something tight and detailed, a little bit more of a smaller ensemble, especially for being able to blend, because there's a lot of people, if you have, let's say, like a first violins string section, but then you want to get a little bit more detail, and then people will do stuff like layering a soloist on there, but being able to layer these smaller, more Divisi type sections with something like that really can add a lot of detail and just the flexibility of the overall sound. And something that we really wanted to be able to do, and maybe we can get into it now. One of the features that we were experimenting with, because we spent a lot of time going over the UI and just thinking what types of features would be good to add, and the ability to blend articulations. So, for example, so we have some sustains right here for the cellos. Oh, let me turn off this arpeggiator. Yeah, let's turn that guy off. So we got your sustains. Everyone knows sustains. But what if you want to go from sustains to tremolos? So the way we set this up, you can just double click right here. And let's say you want to go from sustains to tremolos really quickly. Double click right here, paste that in. And then we have this A-B slider right here. So you can go from A to B, or you can blend between one or the other. So let me stop talking and I'll show you how it is in action. So right here, we're going to set the sustain to A because I want to start with sustains. So we're going to do that. And then I want to fade into tremolos. So we're going to set that to B, and you'll see this light up down here. So all you have to do, you can learn this to any MIDI controller. So if you want to do that,
Ooh, I like that.
and being able to do that in real time is such a time saver, because sometimes it's really hard to automate that in your DAW. If you're trying to, do stuff with, with volume and modulation and trying to have it on two different tracks, it could be really hard to do that. But you can, if you just want to combine stuff on the fly, you can do that really easily. Or if you just want to change these too. So we have sustains. Let's try something different. So since this is already set up, and if you want to just audition different articulation blending, it's really easy. So you can have like a flattando sustain right here, and then let's change this. Let's do Ponticello. Why not? So we can do that here. And just being able to do that, it's really nice, because it almost kind of sounds like this group of players, maybe certain people are now starting to do this other articulation, and it sounds blended together, especially when you're on the middle. So you can kind of hear that creeping in. Or if you wanted to change that, let's say you want to do a harmonic sustain. You want to start off with something like that. So it's really nice to be able to do that in real time. It's a feature that I was pretty excited about when we got it implemented. Because if you've seen a lot of our other libraries, we have the 4-layer system, and you can X fade between various layers. And we wanted to be able to do that with the strings. And this will also be a feature that will be in future Hyperion libraries, like the full brass. A lot of people ask about it. It will be in there too.
Love that. Well,
pretty exciting.
We've spent 40 minutes on Hyperion strings. I know we have other instruments to get to, so I don't want to get too lost in the weeds here. Is there any other features that you just want to point out real quick, or are we good to move on to the next instrument?
I think we're good to move on.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, if you definitely want to see more, just head over to our channel and watch all the super detailed walkthroughs.
Do that, and then come back to Plugin Boutique when you're ready to get it. If you're coming in late, welcome. We're here with Craig from Soundiron, checking out some of their newer instruments. This one and the last one have just been added to pluginboutique.com, so my friend Connor will put a link to those if you want to check them out. And of course, just as usual, we're doing a giveaway throughout the stream today, and to be entered to win, all you need to do is be active in the chat one way or another, being cool, being a good person. That's all it takes to win with Plugin Boutique. So what's up with this Sonospheres Limitless, Craig?
All right, so with this one, we recently came out with this. If you're familiar with the Sonosphere series that we've done with Blake Ewing, We've done different ones from distance, origin, current, and direction. And with this compendium for Sonospheres Limitless, it has all 4 of them. And all 4 of these are individually on Plugin Boutique as well. And what's really cool about this is that you can mix and match the various sounds, because a lot of the different Sonospheres libraries each have a very awesome use case, especially if you're doing any kind of like indie scoring, or you just want that really, I like to call them cue starters, those types of sounds that just really trigger something in you to where you just want to keep writing music. And this has a bunch of presets. So up here, Blake Ewing did a bunch of really cool presets from, this one says start here. So nice starting place. It's always nice to have things categorized in a way that you can just kind of navigate towards. So like if you're doing underscore, you just want something with movement, stuff like that. You have a lot of options. And with this, if you've seen our Quadrille 3 library, it's got the 4 layers and also this XY pad. Who doesn't love an XY pad? And we've done a lot of really cool stuff with this user interface, because not only do you have this XY pad that allows you to blend between the different quadrants. So if you're just so as of right here, this is turned on. So it's kind of it's moving on its own, but you can also change that if you want to open the range. You can do that down here. Or a feature that was asked a lot and we've implemented it is the ability to have this mapped to MIDI sliders. Sometimes you just want to control it yourself. And what's cool is that you can have one turned on, and then you can just let it, you can have one of the X or Y moving on its own, and then you can control the other one, which is
what
really
are you
cool.
controlling it with specifically?
I'm just using this MIDI fader box just to control that. So you can also change this down here, so you can see like which MIDI CC it's assigned to. So I have X assigned to 1 and then Y assigned to 11. So you can. So as you can see, the one that's moving on its own, this is turned on down here, or you can do vice versa. So if you want to turn this one on and do it the other way. And I have these set to X fade. You can also set these to the macros. So right here with these macros, you have all of these different macro options. So you can assign these to various effects in the effects rack. So you can get really crazy with the sound design possibilities of this library. Wow. And something that I would like to talk about, and I think it's something that for me personally is really cool, is that we also have the ability to import your own samples. So I thought it would be fun.
Someone just asked that in the chat. So there you go.
Yes, it is possible. And it's one of my favorite aspects of the library, because we spent a lot of time really trying to make this a powerful sound design engine, and really being able to just, with everything, have a lot of customization and being able to, integrate yourself in with the library. So you can combine your own samples with the samples in Sonospheres, or you can have your own samples on each quadrant right here. So I thought, for fun, since we were talking a little bit about Hyperion, because Hyperion also has a lot of sound design that we did for that library, a lot of really cool ambiances, and I have a little bit of that. I also have some of the ambiances in here too. So is that loud enough? Can you hear that?
I mean, I think it can come up a little bit.
Okay, let's.
I think the particular patch you're working on is meant to be rather quiet, but just to let people really hear it might be.
Yeah, if it's a little quiet, let us know in the chat.
Let us know in the chat.
So
that's my line, Craig.
Sorry, man. Not trying to step on your toes. So here we have this ambience. This is an ambience from Hyperion Strings Ensemble, created from the source content in the library. So then if you want to fade into some creepy strings, you could do that. So you can fade between, or you can Actually, I'll use my mouse for this. So that way I can just kind of do it in real time. So, or if you want to start with some creepy strings, go to some creepy cellos. Then you want to bring in some creepy vocals. This is from our Olympus Symphonic Choir. So stuff, nightmare fuel stuff to give you horrendous dreams.
Oh, man.
And with each quadrant, you also have various sound shaping controls down here. So for these creepy strings, you can hear I have them panned to the left, sort of where violins live. And then over here where I have the cellos, it's panned a little bit more to the right, which is kind of where cellos tend to live. So you can kind of simulate various things. You can also, automate these if you want to learn these in a different way. Maybe you want to learn this to a MIDI CC. Actually, yeah, let's do that. So maybe you just want to have this panned. And there's also a couple options for panning. There's pan and auto pan. So a lot of really cool stuff that you can do to really customize. You can also have it pitched. So if you want to undo that, or if you want to pitch it higher. But the cool thing too is that when you map these right here, so all you have to do is just drag and drop the samples right here. You can choose where the root note is, and then you can. So wherever you play on the keyboard, it's going to sound a little bit different. It's going to pitch it across. But just being able to just throw in your own samples and get really creative with it. And then if you want to go into the effects rack, you can add some other effects. So maybe you don't want this reverb, maybe you want something else, or if you want to change the delay, there's some different options. There's 2 different racks to choose from. So if you want to go into the second one and just throw in a bunch of other effects, there's like phasers and rotators, distortion, different reverbs, chorus. So a lot of really cool stuff. If you're into tweaking knobs and sound design and taking, something I've done too, just take a violin, play it horribly, record it, throw it in here, pitch it around. A lot of stuff that you can do. So
Craig, why don't you play us a few of your favorite presets just so we can really hear it in action?
Yeah, let me head back over here. So let's go into the presets menu and check out some of the underscore.
Will any of the
Cycle through.
presets have sort of the modulation active as you go into it? Like it's sort of baked in the preset?
Yeah. So, because a lot of these sounds are sound design, but then you can use the different features. And some of these presets maybe have different usages of the XY, just kind of going back and forth, or being assigned to certain macros. As you can see here, some of these are assigned to volume. So it might be doing a little bit of that. Each quadrant can also have its own LFO, filter, and ARP. So this one, you can see it's got some filter. So each one's kind of designed in a way to evoke a certain feeling or just be good for a certain use case. You can hear it's got a little bit of a pitch dive towards the end. Then there's also some movement. So maybe you're in need of something that maybe you're using one that's a little bit more patty, and then you want something that's got a little bit more movement to it. You can hear it's got some little scattering going on.
There it is.
Check out a few more. And one of the really cool things about this library too is we also have this randomizer down here. So each slot, if let's say you select all the sounds you like, but you just want to randomize other aspects of the library, you can do that. So I believe all of these are locked. So if we want to just kind of, yeah, this one might not be the best one to randomize. But yeah, sometimes depending on certain effects that are loaded, it might get a little crazy. You need to take a nap. Yeah, hopefully I don't have too much. Let me just go ahead and mute that for now. So let's select a different preset. Probably wasn't the best one to randomize. I think I had it a little too loud too, actually. So this one's kind of like an organ sound. But yeah, so depending on what types of sounds and effects you have, you can randomize all of the different macros and things like that. So that's definitely one of the things we always get asked about is being able to randomize things. So, and also being able to lock the sounds that you have as well. So, and then we also created some presets for this too. There's some ARP and effects and leads and pads and stuff like that. So there's a ton of presets that come with this. And if you want to just go through the different ones too, so you can see we have all 4, and then the extras. We also have wavetables in here too. So
Crazy.
a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Just being able to have wavetables and all the samples and being able to do user import really kind of makes this sort of like, even if you're like the sounds are good, but I really just being able to import my own samples, like you have that too. So it's kind of a little bit for everybody.
Love that. Craig, I just am cognizant of time. I know we wanted to check a few more things out. So
yeah, so we also have our Voices of Wind collection. We have a lot of solo vocals. That's something we've been doing and we've been known for a long time is solo vocals. So with this Voices of Wind collection, we have multiple singers, and then we also added some singers for this collection too that you can't get individually. So right here you can see we have 6 singers loaded up. And one of my favorite features is this drift button right here. So you can see when I don't have it turned on, they all kind of start at the same time. But with this drift button, you can hear a little bit of a delay, because not everyone's going to, be a robot and be able to sing.
It's like humanizing
right at the same time. Yeah, it humanizes it a little bit, so that way you can get a little bit more of a. So that's really cool, and you can pan these however you want. If you want to just solo one singer, you can do that too. Create your own blend. So if you wanted to do just these 2 singers, you can do that, and then just play around with wherever they sit on the stage. So a lot of really cool options. A lot of these libraries also come with a lot of really cool phrases. So we'll play some of those too. So this is from the 80, Voice of Wind 80. And there's a bunch of cool phrases. If you click right here, you can see there's a bunch to choose from major or minor. There's also another folder with a bunch of ones that are for, because with these being dark or light, it's good for if, let's say, you want some phrases that are a little bit more happy. This one is the dark, so they're a little bit more moody, a little bit more somber sounding.
Sounds wonderful, though.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of the phrases because, nothing is going to be a recorded phrase. I mean, we have the option of the different vowels. You can legato between them or do staccatos as well. But it's always nice to be able to have those real phrases, especially because sometimes maybe you're scoring a scene and you want the sound of a vocalist just singing a very emotional phrase or something like that, and you just want it, in a specific time. You can do that. And you can also change these. So we also have some breaths. So if you want the sound of a singer breathing before doing a phrase, you can do that. And then with these green keys, you can pitch them too. So this is in A sharp major, but if you wanted to make this fit a different key, you can pitch it down a little bit, and then you can play that same phrase.
So if you switch where it says A sharp major, will it switch the bank, or will it not just transpose all of the phrases?
It just transposes all the phrases.
Gotcha.
So with this one, so if we go back to where it was.
No, but I mean like where it says there's like a drop-down menu in the middle of the UI.
Oh, these are just the various phrases in different keys. So if you were to do D minor, it's still going to be transposed. So if you wanted to have D minor, but then transpose these phrases down a half step, you can hear it'll do that. So what the transposing key switches allow you to do is you can program those in, but you can make them fit your chord progression. So if you're like, oh, I have this in, D flat minor or something, you just transpose it down a half step, you're good to go.
Cool.
So just allow people to make these phrases fit their tracks.
Love it.
And then if we want to listen to some other ones, this is from Kimba.
These are all separate.
Yeah. So this is another
instrument.
Exactly. So this is another compendium that we created, sort of like Sonospheres, where it has the individual ones all packed together with some new stuff. So this one is from one of the individual ones that's now in the Voices of Wind collection. So just to give you a little bit of an idea of one of the other singers' phrases. So very different voice, different types of phrases. So a lot of different options to, if maybe you're doing something that's a little bit more Celtic-y or something, maybe this would be a little bit more suited for that. And there's also, with this drop down, different banks from, different keys of phrases of, bright ones. And these are set to sync, but if you want to just let it play at 120, let's say your track's at 120.
Serge Zibich is wondering what the sample size is for these ones. Like how many variations of vocals do we get?
Oh, there's lots. I think with Voices of Wind collection, it's in the thousands. There's a lot, especially between the different singers, different keys, different dark or light. There's just so many to choose from. Honestly, just the phrases alone, there's a lot.
So to be clear, the collection is all of them, but you can buy, if you just wanted, say, this one, you can get it on its own.
Yeah, there are two. I believe it's two other singers that we added in this collection that aren't available individually. But yeah, you can get, it's 80, Kimba. There's four singers total, and they can all be a la carte. So if you just want Voice of Wind 80, you can get that, or if you just want Kimba, you can do that too.
Great. We got I think one more. We're going to check out the drums, was it? Or I mean, you also has a pretty gnarly metal session if you wanted to play that for the people. Yeah,
so for anyone who likes the metal, our Ex Machina, which is a library that I sampled my 7-string Kiesel. It's a custom Kiesel Aries, and I really wanted to have a string or a guitar library that it's kind of like, with brass, there's some people that are like, man, I just want that triple F. I want that loudest, buzzy, brassy sound. That's kind of what I wanted to do with this, because I've always felt was like certain guitar libraries. I mean, being a guitarist, most of the time I usually just play it in, but there's not a lot of people, kind of like me. I'm not a good drummer. That's why drum libraries are going to be in my arsenal. But yeah, with this, I really wanted to have a guitar library that was very aggressive. So I'm using this example, or for this example, I'm also using our knockout drums, which we did. It's a full-on metal drum library, but can be used for various other styles as well. So enough talking, and let's hear a little bit of it. So this is a track that I did a while back, sort of in a deathcore kind of style, just to show it used in other ways. I've done some other death metal type compositions on our YouTube channel, which it's always fun for me because get to go back to my roots a little bit.
Nice.
But yeah, with this, I could just solo just a little bit of the drums if you guys want to hear that.
Are you programming those fills, or are those like?
This is all me just sitting here punching in MIDI notes.
Like those tom rolls, where are those at? No, the fills.
Oh yeah, here we go.
There they are. Nice.
Yeah. One of the things about this library, one of my favorite things, is the toms. So if we want to solo these toms, I think I just have the drums soloed at the moment, but if you want to solo just the toms. Just that, because these drums were sampled by Naveen Copperwise. He's played in a ton of bands. Antheos is one of his current projects, and he does a lot of session stuff. And he has his drum set in particular just has an awesome sound to it. And like the toms are probably one of my favorite aspects, just because they just let me. Like you can hear the sound of the stick digging into the toms, or just like that nice round. And I just love that. It's one of my favorite aspects of this library. I mean, the drums in general sound killer, but the toms in particular. And also, one of the things I want to mention too is we have this dual mode. This is a separate track that I set up so people can hear. So if maybe you're one of those people that you don't want to have something programmed on the left, something programmed on the right. Let me so you can hear these are hard panned left and right. And you can also change this too. So right here you can drag these guitars and you can see the electricity, yes. The power. Yeah, and so you can change the panning too, which is always nice. So this is locked right here, so it's going to pan them both at the same time. So maybe you want, I want to swap these and have guitar right on guitar left. If that's something you want to do, you can do that. And then you can key switch between all these. So let's keep this open, and then you can sort of see a little bit of the key switching in action.
I like those.
So sometimes too, also when you're multi-sampling an instrument, just sampling individual notes when you play them together, I mean, you can get a power chord, but having real recorded power chords, you're not going to get that real sound because just the sound of all the strings being played together and having a little bit of delay. So I really wanted to have recorded palm mutes, power chords, power chord sustains, and then the individual. So if you want to have palm muted individual notes with, the ability to change the direction if you want it to alternate. So if you want to hold my sustain pedal. So you can hear the sound of the dooga, down up, or if you just want to just have down up. So you can see with this, I set it up to where each slot has the same articulation, but so this slot has the alt, this one's got just downs, this one has just up. So it allows me to really get in there and program specific notes to have a certain type of articulation, whether it's a palm muted upstroke or just a sustained upstroke or downstroke. So
with this one, Craig, is it just the articulations shown here, or is there like a menu where you can get in and choose?
Yeah, you can get in here and change these as well. So if you click any of these slots, kind of like Hyperion Strings Ensemble, you can choose different ones. So maybe you want some pinch harmonics. And then there's also some effects that I recorded too. So if you want some mutes, some pick scrapes.
That's wild.
So, and
Paul
these are cool because
Craig is wondering if there are any sound design elements in this one, or is it just straight guitar?
This library is just straight guitar. I know a lot of people they expect the sound design from us, but maybe if that's something people would like for a future update or something, we can add some. I have some ideas for some things I want to do with this. So, we can definitely for a future update maybe add some of that if that's something people would be interested in. But yeah, as of this, pretty much just straight guitar. And one of the things I want to mention too is that I recorded at DI, but there's also some processed guitar in here as well. So if you just, let me find another one. Because what you heard was this amp sim on here. This is the Neural DSP Gojira. It's just a really awesome high gain amp sim. But if, let's say you want to use your own amp sim and just use the DI, because having the DI, that's the heart of it right there. So you can change the tone. I've actually experimented with using the DI on here and reamping through a real cab. So, some pretty cool things you can do with just having the DI and just being able to shape the tone. So it doesn't necessarily always need to be metal. You can do, clean sounding stuff with it too. It's dynamically sampled. So, not everything is at 11, even though the knob right here is at 11. So
love that.
Doesn't always need to be, but just depends on what you need.
All right, Craig. Well, thanks for taking the time today. Was there any other last things to mention before we wrap it up?
I think that's pretty much it.
Nice. Well, that was pretty robust. We spent a lot of time on the Hyperion strings, which we're very excited to now offer on pluginboutique.com. Throw a link on to that again. There's also a few other versions, right? You don't need the whole ensemble. You can get some other versions as well.
Yeah, we have, like a lot of our other products, we have micro, element, and then the full version. So like our Apocalypse percussion, we have the ensemble elements and micro. So if you just want to test the waters, you can get the micro version at a very affordable price, and you can get a feel for it. If you like it, then you can upgrade to the elements. You can apply your full purchase to that if you want to do that. And just being able to upgrade as you're developing as a producer, musician, composer, we always like to give people the option to try it at an affordable price, and then if you want to upgrade, you can upgrade. But yeah, we have the Hyperion Strings Micro and Elements version as well.
Well, cool. I think we're going to give the good people who are joining us on the stream today one last opportunity to be entered into the giveaway, which we're going to do. So now's the time. You've got about 30 seconds, and we will choose maybe one or two of the random people. But Craig, what are some other instruments? Because Soundiron is massive. We've got so many different instruments. What are some other standouts that people should check out?
Definitely some of these standouts is, with the Hyperion series, we have choir, or not Hyperion choir. We have the Olympus choir, and we have our Hyperion brass. That's something that a lot of people I've seen like the sound of. We also have a lot of various other types of, like tune percussion, sound design, ambiances, like Glitch Hero if you're doing some more electronic EDM kind of stuff, or if you want more ethnic kind of percussion or strings. But yeah, the choirs are Olympus Symphonic Choir, which has men's and women's choir. We have various different percussion. We have a fart library if you're into that. Some.
Excuse me. What did you just say?
I thought we have a fart library.
Love that.
Who knows? Yeah, that was a fun one. We did that for April Fools, and that was a fun one to do because it's funny because Soundiron.
It's better to have it and not need it than need it and not have it. I mean,
yeah, because our slogan is "Where the world is your orchestra." So when you hear that, that doesn't just mean you don't just stop at choirs. You gotta go deep.
Yeah,
you gotta go. Sound can be used musically in various ways, and we like. You've
also got it for your Foley library as well for film.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we have a lot of stuff too from recorded, like different ambiences. Like our 6 series is really cool. If you're doing horror, we came out with the full compendium of our 6 series as well, which has all the things to give you nightmares.
Like what do you? What's in there? I'm into something like that. Tell me about that.
Yeah, we have a lot of recorded, like there's more kind of Foley sound. We did one where there's a lot of kind of like NPC character voiceovers. We all kind of got in the booth and did like like screaming grunts and stuff. So if you're working on a game, you need that kind of sound. There's all that. There's also some things where it's like the choir of hell, which is like a bunch of these crazy sound design yells that you can just play that just sounds out of this world.
You also have, I think, the Aztec death whistle as well.
Yeah, we have an Aztec death whistle. We have a lot of really unique things because, we have a recorded steel water bottle. We also have some really cool freebies too. We have, I saw someone mention Snack, which is one that we came out with a while back that we recently updated. It's got a bunch more animal sounds. Really try to cover the gamut as far as everything composers would need, from whether it's Foley or sound design or just any instrument we can get our hands on. We're always looking for the next thing to sample. So
love that. Well, Craig, correct me if I'm wrong, but we're going to be giving away some stuff right now. We're going to be giving away the Voices of Wind. Is that the collection or is it anyone specifically?
It's the collection, so you're going to get all of it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Intense. Over 1,000 vocal things, I think you said, samples.
Yeah, just a lot.
Yeah. We're going to give away the Hyperion Strings Ensemble. One lucky person is going to grab that. We're going to give away 1 copy of the Sonosphere Limitless and 1 copy of the Ax Machina.
Yeah.
Nice. All right, so I've got some names here. I think I've got 9 names. Let me just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I got 9 names, 9 wonderful people from the community who have been wonderful throughout the stream. Let's give the first one away, Ax Machina. So give me your favorite number between 1 and 9, and that person will win Ax Machina.
All right, so since that's the metal guitar library, let's go ahead and pick the number 6.
I think that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Seems appropriate.
Boom. All right, and the Voices of Wind collection.
All right, so for that, let's go with number 3.
1, 2, 3. And the Hyperion Strings Ensemble, now available in Plug-in Boutique.
All right, so that's the big one.
Yeah,
so
it's pretty big.
Let's go with 9.
Yeah, I mean that makes sense.
The biggest number, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. Oh, I almost put that on the wrong one. That's right. Thank you. Okay, that's properly on number 9 now. And finally, Sonosphere Limitless, also now available on Plug-in Boutique. Who's that going to?
Let's go with a good number. Let's go with the lucky 7.
Lucky number 7. All right. Let me get rid of these other names. Come back next time and maybe you'll win. Don't. Didn't go with 1 or 2. I see you, Greg. I see what you're doing. That's nice. All right.
Let's not keep it binary.
We got, for Ax Machina, Flyover Fred. Congratulations, Flyover Fred. You win an Ax Machina. Hyperion,
Congrats.
No, we'll save that one for last. Voices of Wind collection. Aaron Moon. That's an Aaron with 2 A's, R-O-N, Moon. Congratulations, Voices of Wind collection.
Congrats.
And the Sonosphere Limitless, now available on Plugin Boutique, is Peter Jensen. That's Peter with 2 T's. Jensen. And finally, the winner of the Hyperion Strings Ensemble, Josh the Potato.
Mr. Potato, you are the winner.
Also, just Josh.
Winner,
great
winner.
name. Solid name. Anyone named Josh is I mean, that's just winning. So congratulations if you won. If you didn't, come back next time. We do these streams almost weekly, and we're always doing giveaways, and all you need to do is be a cool person in the chat to win. Possibly win, I should say. If your name was called, what we need you to do is email support@pluginboutique.com with your name, what you won, and a screenshot of you logged in here on YouTube. And I believe they'll need to set up an account at soundiron.com, Craig, and then send us that email, whichever email you use to set up an account on Soundiron. Send that along with that email to support@pluginboutique, and our customer service team will get you sorted as soon as humanly possible. Craig, thank you so much for coming by and doing this. It's been a pleasure. I'm super excited. I think I told you I had Olympus, I think it was Olympus Elements before, but I've just come up with an idea of something I want to do, so I'm going to have to reach out and get myself a copy again, because I've got a cool idea. But Soundiron's been around for a long time, and for good reason. The instruments are phenomenal. They're only getting better. We'd love to see it. And anytime you got a new instrument out, give me a message, and we'll set up another stream.
Oh, you know it. You know what's going to happen. But yeah, thank you so much for having us on. It was great hanging with you, and getting to show some of our stuff to the Plugin Boutique peeps. So nice. Yeah, thank you. Really appreciate it, and it's been a lot of fun.
All right, thanks for waking up early. I'll let you get back to your day. Everybody else, thanks for tuning in. I'm Joshua Casper. This is Plugin Boutique, and we will see you in the next stream.
All right.
Ragamuffin keeps striving in every way. International, what they call we international. When me ride palm with them in the move, but the rhythm and I come down crucial. And me ride palm with them and then we sit down steady. Body me on the place, I with the one Jamal ski. Jump up on the rhythm, make we ride it right. We chat up on the mic and keep it international. Cause anytime we jump on mic, they call we give it a general. right palm rhythm and I move with the rhythm and I come down crucial. I'm in right palm rhythm and then we sit down steady. For the men on the place I with the one chap I'll skip. Right